This is Phoebe Green and the Locker of Destiny, written and read by me, James Dubon. Chapter 21, Destination 2025. On Halloween, the girls were allowed outside after supper in their pyjamas and slippers. They loved any sort of change to the routine, even if it meant shivering in the darkness. In the courtyard, their pumpkins were arranged in a vast circle. Ghoulish faces flickered orange, and the Year 7 bugs excitedly point out their creations to their friends. "Tonight's the night," Phoebe whispered to Alice and Jade. "I won't get to say goodbye properly because it will wake up the others. I don't want Megan to make a big hullabaloo about me leaving the dorm at midnight, or she might scupper my exit." Alice forced a smile, but looked sad. "I'll miss you," she said. "Me too. I don't know what we're going to do without you," Jade said. "And it's going to be so weird having your mum come and join us in January. Shall we tell her about you?" "The less said, the better," Phoebe said. "I don't want to change a single thing about the course of her life. Just be sure she takes the bed by the window. I know for a fact she had that one." "I'm amazed you never read her diary," Alice said. "Aren't you curious about what it says?" Phoebe shook her head. "I said I wouldn't read it until January. I intend to keep that promise. By then, I'll be in the bed by the window in 2025. I'll read about her in 1995. And she'll be talking about Alice and Jade, and I'll be so happy for her." "Is she as cool as you?" Jade asked. Phoebe nodded enthusiastically. "Oh, thanks. Mummy's really fun. In the daytime, she is the boss of a big racing team in her suit. She has a laser pointer and gives powerful speeches that make the men get teary and thump their chests. But in the evening, she and I learn dances in hotel rooms and order room service. She's the best." "My mum's fun too," Jade said. "She has a new hobby every single week, and we have spare rooms piled up with yoga mats and pottery wheels. She's bonkers. I think that's why Dad sent me to boarding school, to make more room for stuff." Alice stared at them blankly. The idea of dancing with her mum was too difficult to comprehend. "Wow," she said. "You know when you go to a museum and you have to be quiet and not touch anything? That's what my house is like. I dread going back for the holidays." The girls were ushered back to their dorms, where the sound of toothbrushes was interrupted by Miss Parsley's voice. "Do any of you know why a purple cupboard has been abandoned in a corridor?" she asked. The girls of Dorm 7 looked at Phoebe. "It's our woodwork project," she explained. "I can move it tomorrow, but is it okay to leave it there tonight?" "Fine," Miss Parsley said. "I'd like it cleared up before breakfast." Phoebe climbed into bed, feeling nervous but excited about what was to come. The first thing she would do back at Perivale 2025 is phone her mum and hear her voice. She would break into reception in the dead of night if that's what it took. In fact, she adjusted her plans so she would arrive, go straight to the phone, make the call, and then go to bed. The excitement made her giggly. In the darkness of Dorm 7, Phoebe lay in her bed, checking her watch every few minutes. She listened to the faint sound of the other girls breathing, scratching, and eventually snoring. Time seemed to stand still. At 10:30 p.m, she heard the click of the door closing to Miss Parsley's quarters at the top of the hallway. Still, Phoebe waited until her watch showed midnight. It was time. Time to go home. She crept out of bed, grabbed her mum's sacred diary, and slid her feet into her slippers. No bare feet on the lawn this time. She was a professional. Her eyes were already accustomed to the darkness, and she tiptoed across the dorm. Out in the hallway, she crept along the dimly lit corridor and saw the new wooden Locker of Destiny. A painting of Miss Perivale hung opposite, staring down at her. No doubt it would have shaken its head if it could. "Goodbye," she mouthed. "See you in 30 years. Phoebe felt nervous. She remembered how terrifying it had been the first time around when the locker shook and tumbled. She pulled open the wooden door, which was stiff because she and the girls had screwed the hinges on without measuring properly. With a deep breath, she climbed inside and pulled the door closed. She squeezed her eyes shut and held onto the sides in anticipation of what was to come. Phoebe always knew the Locker of Destiny would work, so it came as no surprise at all when she felt the first shake. A grin spread across her face. She pushed her hands against the wooden walls and braced herself for the spinning madness of time travel. Sure enough, the locker began to jerk and swing. Her stomach dropped, as if she was in the car and Mummy had zoomed over a humpback bridge. Now she was on her back, she was sure of it. Phoebe pushed against the bottom of the locker with the balls of her feet ready for takeoff. As before, there was a stomach-lurching sensation. Phoebe felt like she was on a roller coaster at a theme park. The locker pitched and shook. She felt sick as it seemed to spin. Her hair fell over her face and then off again. Phoebe wished she could have opened the locker and witnessed the galaxy of purple and bright white light she was sure was outside. Thud! The back of Phoebe's head banged against the wood, and then silence. Phoebe gasped for breath. Her heart pounded in her chest. "I've arrived," she thought, grinning with excitement.